Why is it so difficult for most of us to have meaningful conversations with our dads? This is something I started thinking about over the course of the last several months as I was kind of noticing that, my parents live in the US. I'm based here in Costa Rica, and managing a long distance relationship has brought kind of this place to our communication where we're in this constant state of what's going on around the house and old stuff. And while all of that is good, my father and I have never had a relationship where we're really talking about what's truly moving us in life. So I really took it upon myself to start crafting a process to reestablish communication with him. And so I'm offering this not from a place of knowing anything, but a place of discovery. So kind of sharing you guys what that intention looks like, but I'd really like some feedback on it and know what's working for you guys and see if I can refine my own process. So the basis of how I started it was the idea of what I want our relationship to look like in an ideal world, actually having an image of what we're doing and what we're talking about and seeing that exchange of commonality instead of mostly focusing on our differences. So the first thing I did was visualize that, figure out how we're speaking to each other, how there's happiness and joy in what we're exchanging, and more of a playful nature behind it. While we all have our own states of relationship with our father, for me, it was something that really needed some adaptation, because we do have differences of opinions on many things, and without saying anything about them, those things still kind of carry a certain energy into how the conversation flows. So kind of getting away from that and defining an intention, which for me was centered on back to having fun and trusting one another, and kind of knowing what that looked like for me, how that's going to feel. The second part of it was to express an invitation to Dad, and sit down with him and say, hey, I just really wanted to change the dynamics of our relationship, and this is what I want. And I want us to have a more beautiful and harmonious relationship. I want us to interact more lightly instead of just spending a lot of time talking about more of the menial things in life and, illnesses and what's going on in the neighborhood, which is all good. I really wanted to get a sense of where he was, as he's getting older and how he's feeling about things, really getting to a place where he feels comfortable expressing what's happening inside of him. And I wanted to share that with him. The next piece was kind of asking for his agreement if he wanted to participate in that, if he had any interest in changing our relationship. Otherwise, I was trying to push it kind of uphill. So that was kind of a key element behind it. And then next, I decided to come up with a set of possibilities on how we communicate. And everyone kind of studies their own communication strategy, maybe, or have heard about something like, the 4 agreements or nonviolent communications or authentic relating techniques. And if you haven't, it's worth a Google. But figuring out what tools you want to have to communicate effectively. And for me, I kept it really simple on the 4 agreements because I can step through them very quickly. And again, just kind of ask for his commitment. And fortunately, for the way that exchange went on our first conversation just a couple of months ago, I had his complete buy-in. He agreed that taking it to a more authentic place of relating would be really helpful and valuable to him. So we kind of proceeded with him having an understanding of where I wanted to go. So it felt really good. And the next piece of it was having my own list of understanding where my father is, how he likes to communicate, understanding, that these are tools that he's interested in developing, but it's kind of my responsibility to keep things on track. So maybe bring in a bit of an understanding of what my leadership strategy kind of looks like, for lack of a better way to put it, I guess. And making sure that I'm being sensitive to where he is today in order to facilitate a conversation. So if we have disagreements on something of a spiritual nature, then having the right vernacular for me, having the right words to say, that will resonate with him if we're going to get into those conversations. But the 4 agreements had really done a good job of keeping us on task. The last piece of it was just kind of asking him for feedback after the calls, dropping him a little message here and there like, hey, how did it feel to you? What would you want to do differently? And I really enjoyed the process of like making it a bit of a workshop. It was like a little project that we were doing together. So all that to say, now we kind of have a regular frequency of, we're shooting the shit some days. And then other days we have a call, like we're having, because I'm remote and we see each other a couple times a year, we'll do a Zoom call, and we'll like just kind of drop in and really get down to like the root of life. And then, send some cool pictures and keep up. But this has been part of my communication strategy that I'm redefining with my father. I'm curious if you have any feedback, like any recommendations, some other steps that I can use in my own process. And for anybody that wants to share where they're at relative to their own father journey of like communicating with their father, I'd love to hear about it. So good luck with your journey, and I hope this was helpful. If you want to check out more, feel free.